I mean, what else can you say? You know, I feel bad for her. That sucks. I mean, she definitely got assaulted. The guy admitted to it. What the f else is there? You know, feel bad for her. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. That guy's never going to have a career on Twitch. And I think that's the right thing. You know, I don't think he should, I don't think he should be allowed in Twitchcon again, certainly. Never mind any other kind of convention where something like that can happen. You know, it's just not worth the risk of him being around.
We'll do it live!
Twitchcon was a complete disaster, okay? There's been a lot of stories coming out regarding this. The first one we've got here is a video from X8 called Twitchcon Stories Keep Getting Worse. Now, I believe this is regarding some kind of incident of supposed sexual assault at TwitchCon, so I don't know what happened here, but I'm very curious to see it. Turkey Town Book Club, please? Maybe I'll do it eventually. I remember Boogie said the joke was funny, but then cried on stream about it. I mean, that's a Boogie thing, right? When is Boogie not crying about something? At this point, if he's not crying, you just think there's something wrong. If Boogie is ever happy, like, it seems kind of dark, you know? If he's happy, like, there's clearly something else going on that we need to think about. All right, guys. TwitchCon keeps getting worse. Here we go.
Another TwitchCon horror story just dropped. There's just continual degeneracy at these events for some reason. I have no idea why. I just covered the cheating situation yesterday, and today we have something even worse. A man straight walking up to a streamer and just inappropriately touching her live on stream, with that man also being a content creator.
Live on stream? Live? How do you do that live? You're a sexual assaulter. You're doing it live on stream? At least hide it. Come on. Come on, bro. At least do it off stream, okay? We'll do it live! We'll sexually assault her live. He's a streamer too. How did he not think that would go poorly? It's so hard for me to understand these guys who like are clearly freaks. And their first instinct is to tell everyone about it and show themselves doing it. Like knowing that you're on live stream being like, I'm gonna assault this girl. It's like, what the f? At least be like a sociopathic sexual or whatever, you know? They're gooners. Yeah, I mean, maybe the guy genuinely, for some reason, didn't think he was doing anything wrong. Please remind the audience being poor is a choice. Stop being poor. So true. It's completely your fault, guys, okay? You know, for homeless people, I mean, you know, the question is not, how do we help homeless people? It's why don't they have homes, you know? Why do they not have homes? If you're homeless, just get a home. It should be that simple, right? I mean, I don't think anyone can argue with that. That just seems like facts to me.
I'm just going to read you guys the Twitter threads on this whole thing. Let's get into it. So it starts off where this woman by the name of Zenith tweeted out, I was IRL streaming Sunday after TwitchCon when I met up with System Zake.
System Zake. Who the freak is System Zake? System Zake. Looks like he's a gamer. Looks like he's a YouTube gamer.
At one point, he rested his head on my chest and then proceeded to motorboat me. After
Whoa!
that, he said, chat, look at her face, then grabbed my ass and said, they don't know what happened. So
what? He motorboated her? Why the f did you do that? That's crazy. Like, I don't mean to make too much light of this. I mean, I do feel bad for her, but that's just like, it's such a, you just walk up to someone and just motorboat them immediately. What the?
Well, this is about a minute-long clip. I'm just going to let it play for you guys. Here it goes.
So that's him putting his head on her chest. All right. So he's getting in prime position to boat. He's getting in prime position to dig in, so to speak. The Charleston, love you too, Tom. What is the Charleston? What the hell is the Charleston?
Oh my God.
Look at her eyes. Look at how shocked she is. Look at how absolutely shocked she is.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's find where we're going.
All right, let's see.
I have to move on from that, or I'm gonna die.
Bet.
I have to move on from that or I'm gonna die. I mean, yeah. You just walk up to a girl you don't know and stick your face in her tits. What the? What is wrong with you? What level of horniness is that? Had he ever even met her before? Did they know each other at all? I'm not saying him knowing her would justify it. I'm just trying to understand, like, what is the level of stranger? Is he just like a random fan, or is he someone that she knew? She seems to know his name, System Zake, right? It wasn't that hard for her to figure out at all. Twitch streamer Zenith was motorboated on stream. Hashtag tipster news. Cheers, my dudes. Do you remember the Seth the Programmer drama from around a year ago? I feel like Moist C and Keen butchered the story. I don't know, honestly, anything about that whole drama. I have no idea what it was. I don't understand it whatsoever.
Please, 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 please. This way, and then off.
Bet. Thank you, Mom. Oh my God.
She is laughing, but you can kind of tell she doesn't really know how to react. She seems kind of off put by what just happened. I don't know if you can say she's traumatized, but you know, regardless of whether she is or not, the guy is still a freak. You know, it doesn't really matter. Just walked up to a random girl and stuck his face in her tits.
You just complimented this motherfucker.
That's a different thing. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
Wait, I got the perfect idea.
Okay.
You just stare right at the chat, all right? Chat, look at her face, okay? Look at her face. Look at her face.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
You're just saying wow. They don't know what happened.
Yeah, they don't know what happened.
I'm curious why she panned the camera away. Is because she knew it was happening, or was she just shocked and wasn't really paying attention? I mean, the guy doesn't really seem to be denying it regardless of that, but Jesus Christ, bro. How much for you to watch the newest Talk 2 episode and do the Charleston? I'm not watching Talk 2 again. I'm sorry. There's no amount of money. You can give me $10 million. I'm not watching Talk 2. Okay, I'm not doing this to myself. There's no amount of money that you can pay me to watch more Talk 2. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Going through some health issues. Your streams help me get through the day. Appreciate it. Stay safe up there. Thank you, brother. Hope you feel better soon. That's rough. How hard is it to say no? I mean, she didn't really even have an opportunity to say no. He just did it. You know, it's like the same thing as being like, why didn't you just say no when like someone just pulls their dick out and slaps it on your face? Like, well, when was she supposed to say no? He just came up to her and was just like, what is she supposed to do? What is she supposed to do in the situation? Like some random guy just walks up and just sticks his face in her tits on live stream, you know? What is she realistically supposed to respond with?
She then continues her thread saying, I wasn't going to post about it, but this shit makes me feel
There was no question in the first place.
Absolutely disgusting. I've had this on my mind for 3 days now, and I just can't forget it. This was all within an hour of
meeting each other. Jesus.
Meeting each other too. This isn't okay, man. Also, in case anybody tries to defend him because I was laughing, no, laughing is one of the biggest defense mechanisms. At that moment, I had no clue how to react. I disassociated and went into autopilot mode. Literally couldn't even believe that shit really happened. On top of this, I am disappointed in the people.
She could have shown she was upset, but obviously she was shocked. She just awkwardly laughed, trying to process what happened. I mean, the thing is, like, what are you, like, what if you're just some random chick, you know, at one of these conventions, like, some guy walks up and just sticks his face in your tits. Like, what are you supposed to react with? Are you supposed to, like, have a mental breakdown in the middle of the con? Like, it's kind of a tough position to be in, you know? It's hard to expect her to act perfectly and be like, hey, you can't do, like, that's just performative at that point. She's still experiencing the emotions associated, so I don't really know what you're supposed to really expect from her, you know? I don't really see a point to criticize her on. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's what he did that's the problem. Like, her response is, you know, it can be whatever it is.
People who were present in my chat at this time saying, my man is Zaki. Lamau, did Zaki just cop a feel? And I honestly can't blame him. Yes, he committed a crime on my live stream. He did do that. All in all, I'm speaking up because nobody should have to go through this. I trusted this man enough to meet up with him in person, and he violated not only my trust, but my boundaries. I'm sorry to other women who have gone through this. This is something we shouldn't have to worry about, but we do. And so, of course, this has gotten a ton of attention. It blew up to almost 10 million.
Jesus, 90,000 likes. If I was there, I would have protected her. Yeah, you would have been the one guy. You would have been the one guy in the 9/11 flight to protect her. I mean, the thing is, what are you supposed to do? I guess you can just beat the guy's ass in public, you know? If a guy does that to your girlfriend, I guess that is the justified thing to do. But, you know, even at that point, it's like, okay, well, you beat his ass. What do you really get from that? You go to jail. You know, the guy might not even go to jail. I mean, this guy hasn't even been arrested, it seems, right? So, like, what are you realistically supposed to do, you know? I think, like, the emotional, like, man reaction that's justified is, like, just beat the out of him, which is, you know, base, and I wouldn't have a problem if anyone did that. But if you're not just letting your hormones take over and you're thinking more critically about it, it's like, you know, okay, so you beat him up. What do you really get from that? It's like, you go to jail. Sure, you get some publicity out of it, but you go to jail, you've just committed a crime. Who knows how the charges are going to go? You know, it might get dropped, it might not be. You just don't really know how it's going to go. So, you know, ultimately, it's like, it's hard to blame whoever she was with for not beating the out of him because, you know, you don't really know if that's going to be an advantageous thing for you or her, frankly. You just escalate it past that point, you know?
Million views in just a couple days, about 90,000 likes.
Jeez. I don't know how much I trust views on Twitter. I don't know how they count them. I think a view on Twitter counts if you just scroll past something, so I don't put a lot of stock in the views, but I would guess at least a few million people actually watch the clip, but I don't know how many people, you know, of these views are really valid. You know, when people say like, oh, it's got 300 million views on Twitter, it's like, did it really though? Like, it probably was actually like 50 million people who saw it, or even less. Were the debates you have with no bullshit, they get deleted? Jesus Christ, what a blast from the past. I have no idea. I don't remember if they were ever on this channel. I think they were on someone else's channel, but honestly, I have a very vague memory of that even happening. What would you do if I motorboated you in public? I don't think I would know what to do. I wouldn't like it. I would probably punch you. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do in that situation.
And immediately everyone is obviously disgusted. Everyone is obviously shocked. They're just like,
it's hard to say, like, how would you act until it actually happens to you, you know?
Like, what the like, how did this even happen? People pointing out in the replies that this is disgusting behavior and it is SA, which, of course, I mean, I don't know how it can be viewed any other way. This guy obviously barely knew her. You don't really need me to sit here and tell you the truth, which is what it obviously is, that it is SA. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but he ended up making a statement himself on it.
He responded. He made a statement. Holy shit. The public response. All right. well, I assume there's no way he can really deny it, right? There's no way he can like try to walk it back or something. Cause I mean, we kind of saw what happened, you know, I guess we didn't see the exact moment on video, but when she has, you know, her reactions and she has like, you know, chat talking about it there and she has other witness testimony and all of that. And the guy's right in the video. I mean, it would be tough for her to lie in that situation, you know, it'd be very tough. So I don't think she was lying.
On his own Twitter. So he started off saying, as some of you may
Looks like he limited the replies, but they can still get him in the quote tweets.
already know, I made a huge mistake Sunday evening. I turned what was supposed to be a fun evening into a now painful and harrowing experience for a fellow Twitch streamer. I crossed the line. I understand the full severity of my actions. I am ashamed and truly and deeply sorry.
I mean, at least he owned up to it, you know. I don't think that makes it better. I don't know if she has to forgive him, but at the very least, he didn't like deny it or something or try to like frame it as if it was like cancel culture, false allegation, you know? Like at the very least, he did admit to what he did. I see a lot of people in the comments here saying like, I'm just going to say that's sus. Who just motorboat someone they just met? I think there's more to the story. I mean, I assume if there was, he would just say it, you know? Like he would just say what the more to the story is. Like, do they have a habit of, are they good friends and it's part of their friendship that he randomly walks up to her and motorboats her? Like, is that a realistic expectation? Probably not. Jesus Christ, dude. This guy is crazy.
Words cannot express my full regrets, especially considering the impact I have had on this streamer's life. Furthermore, I once again not only want to apologize to her, but also to her
The COD Zombies footage really fits with the vid. Of course it does.
fans,
Assaulting zombies.
to anyone who witnessed my behavior, to all those who have found themselves in a similar position to her, and to my own friends and fans. This is not the person I want to be, and this is not an example of acceptable behavior from anyone. There is no way to excuse or take back my actions, regardless of the context. You cannot make light of my behavior and my disregard of her boundaries and trust. This is a huge wake-up call for me, and I want to take accountability for my awful actions and decisions. I will no longer be drinking, and I will be seeking counseling.
Oh, so he's saying he was drunk, basically. So that's his explanation. I mean, maybe that played a factor. It obviously doesn't justify it. It's not a good, you know, excuse, so to speak, but maybe it did play a factor. He should probably stop drinking if when he's drunk he can't stop assaulting women, you know. Jesus. Tom's fishing for a surprise motorboat. Jesus. This is why we never goon, never turn into the weak-willed man-child. I don't even know what you describe. Is this man-child behavior? What? I don't think the average man-child is confident enough to walk up to a woman he doesn't know that well and just motorboat her, like, indiscriminately, you know. He definitely lost to the gooning allegations, though, I'll say that much. Would you do a doc on Jonathan Ross, the lolcow from 2017 to 2019, or is it too played out? Are you talking about is that Bathtub Ross? Maybe. I think Gamer from Mars did a video about that. You and Skibidi have saved me. Now I'm comatose from the brain rot. CJ's home nurse. Well, shout out to CJ's home nurse. Listen, I think your nurse is probably a good person. If she's watching my stuff, I think it makes her a better person if you watch my stream. So big shout out.
I will commit to making sure that I never repeat the same mistakes that I have on that day. I will also be respecting her wishes and seize any communication I have with her.
Realistically, you know, he can own up to it all he wants, but justifiably, nobody's going to be like, you know, it doesn't seem like this is even a popular guy in the first place, but no, like if he did have any chance of popularity, it's not going to hapen now. Like it's over. I think he should unironically just quit Twitch and just like never do it again because nobody's going to give a fuck about this guy in the future. Nobody's going to want to watch him. This kind of thing is a permanent stain, you know, like the first time anybody hears the name System Zake ever, because he's not a popular dude. They just hear about how he assaulted some girl, you know.
I respect all those who make the decision to step away from associating with me at this time, and his tweet just ends there. First of all, this is a huge wake-up call for me. What do you mean? Is this something you normally do? You normally just grope women that you just...
That is a good point. I wonder if there's a history of this and this is just the first time he got caught. If he's that old and he's doing stuff like this, he probably has incidents like this in the past. I mean, we don't know that, but it wouldn't be surprising, you know. I'm sorry I motorboated you. I'm disabled. That's what he should have said. The Brad Taste excuse. The Brad Taste defense is always the funniest thing you can possibly say. Like... You know, I think for that whole Lunchley thing, I think Mr. Beast, I mean, for anything that Mr. Beast has done, I think you should say, I'm sorry I hired a sex offender, I'm disabled, and I would forgive him, as we all should. Never goon.
Mad, like, what a strange way to word this. I'm sorry, but, like, this is just terrible. And this wasn't, like, one little thing. Like, let's say it just was laying his head on her chest, right? If it was just that, sure, you know, maybe she would be like, that made me uncomfortable, and he was like, my bad. But this wasn't a... 2-second decision where he just, he lays his head on her chest, and she's like, I'm not really cool with that. He did that, then he intentionally motorboat.
He was so brazen about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's done it plenty of times before. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It was so nonchalant for him. It wasn't like he was like coming up to her. He was like looking around like, am I going to get away with it? Am I going to get away with motorboating? Like, no, he walked right up to her, gave her a hug, put his head down, and was just like, it seemed like a very casual thing for him. So yeah, it probably is some kind of pattern of behavior if I had to guess. You know, but he's not a young dude. I mean, in the video, he looked like he was at least 30. So it's very difficult to see any kind of like redemption for a guy like this, right? If he was someone I knew in my personal life, I certainly wouldn't forgive him or be like, okay, we can just be friends moving forward. I'd be like, no, you're a freak. Maybe you'll not do it again in the future, but the risk of being around you is not worth like my time. So off. Get the fuck away from me. Was he drunk? It seems like he had a couple shots at the very least.
30 seconds later, he continued to grab her by grabbing her, you know, on the butt behind, you know, off camera, making snarky comments.
Went back for seconds
about it. So this wasn't even just like one little thing that could have been, you know, too uncomfortable. This is insane. So I don't know. It's just totally unacceptable. And apparently he didn't really have a lot of Twitch followers, but this is his social blade. He had about 2,800. And within a day, he lost 1 follower.
That's probably every single active follower he had, too. Because you have 2,000 Twitch followers. That's not your Twitch subs who are paying. That's just the like amount of people who have followed you at all. It's the same as like subscribers on YouTube. So we're against the casual. So now we're against a casual motorboat. I'm sorry. I have to be against the casual motorboating allegations. All right, we can't allow that to happen. You know, even if in the right legally and morally, avoid street fights whenever possible. You don't know how far someone will go. Yeah, exactly. It's generally just not a good idea. You know, tough guy shit, you generally get punished for that. I mean, if you want to be Machiavellian about it, I guess if someone had beat his ass, okay, if another streamer had come up and beat his ass in public, he probably would get a decent amount of publicity from it. And maybe the positive publicity could potentially outweigh the legal consequence, but regardless, like if you want to really try to weigh these things, but generally it's just, you know, it's unadvisable. You don't know how things are going to go. Generally, if you have an opportunity to fight someone in public, you should not take it. Whether or not you'll win. If women go out and start nut tapping men in public, is the man going to get blamed because he didn't say no? Or damn, he should have had smaller nuts? Okay, I'm going to need to reread this again. This is melting my brain. If women go out and start nut tapping men in public, is the man going to get blamed because he didn't have smaller nuts? Okay, I get what you're saying. You're just comparing it to, you're just drawing a comparison between like how it happened to a man. I am curious if that happened to a guy, how people would react, because there does seem to be, unfortunately, a culture where like, I mean, men aren't assaulted or as often as women, obviously, but there does seem to be kind of an unfortunate culture where cases of men being assaulted are not taken as seriously as women. You know, whenever you see like a case of, let's say, a teacher, you know, an older teacher who is, you know, having a relationship with a young student, you know, grooming them, right? Typically for, you know, if it's like a young girl and an older teacher, people will be like, oh, that's so disgusting, as they should. But then if it's like a young guy and an older woman, you know, who's the teacher, people will be like, oh, I wish that was me. I wish I got jerked off when I was 15. It's like, bro, you're kind of missing the point. You know, I feel like we're kind of missing the point. You probably wouldn't be cool with it because the point is you can't consent when you're that young. You know, it doesn't matter what gender you are. In the words of the wise Master Yoda, gooning leads to degeneracy. Once one has embraced degeneracy, forever domain? You mean dominate their destiny? Least degenerate gooning is. Embrace degeneracy and forever dominate your destiny. It will. That's my best attempt at a Yoda impression, okay? I don't like Star Wars.
And as of today, his account is actually...
I feel like social media is starting to condemn both now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it depends on where you look. Like, it really depends on where you look. I think Twitter, like taking Twitter as like a good barometer for how people actually think is generally not a good idea. Obviously, some culture can be downstream of Twitter and stuff, you know, from there for sure. But at the same time, so much stuff from social media is so brain rotted, especially on a site like Twitter where everybody's like acting the most they possibly can for attention and clicks. And, you know, a lot of people on Twitter will say things that they feel like they can get away with just for the sake of saying it rather than that being their genuine opinion, you know, just because like they want an outlet to be a freak, right? So, yeah.
Terminated due to violating the community guidelines, so he is off of Twitch. I opened up his YouTube
for the
channel
best.
And scrolled down on his last upload, which was 5 months ago, and the top comment from 1 day ago: "You should be in a shed somewhere making license plates."
True. Why making license plates? Is it like a terrible job to be the guy making license plates? I feel bad for any license plate manufacturers, okay? Any humble license plate artists, all right? Listen, you guys don't need to be associated with whatever this is.
W comments BTFO'd. And yeah, so look, I mean, I've looked at this story. I saw some people cover this story. You know, some takeaways that I saw from a few people who went over this.
It's a prison thing? Do they do that in prison? Is that real? Do people in prison make license plates. Many states in the United States have incarcerated workers make license plates as a part of prison labor programs. Really? California, New York, Ohio, Texas, Michigan. I didn't know this at all. I didn't know this was a thing that, okay. Well, you learn something new every day. Jesus, I had no idea. I literally had no idea, dude. Have you seen the SpongeBob episode? Probably when I was 9 years old.
Is that they were kind of upset at, the over-explaining of things, in these replies, like how Zenith is just going off and, yapping. And it could have been very simple, very straightforward. But I think that criticism is just kind of silly. It just kind of is meaningless. First of all, me as a commentator, am I going to complain that someone is over-explaining things or talking? Two things. One, selfishly, it gives me more to talk about. But two, this is a huge situation for this person. They were literally essayed and groped on the street.
Did she really over-explain? Like 3 or 4 tweets. Is that really over-explaining? I don't think it's not. I don't think it's crazy. Like, what do you expect her to do? Just like make a 1-word tweet and not elaborate at all? If she did that, people would accuse her of not giving enough detail and potentially making a false allegation. You can't expect someone in this position to act completely perfectly and have the most perfect PR behind everything. I hate to be that guy, but women are more vocal about their essay than men. Less reports means less cases. Who knows the actual numbers? Yeah, I still would guess probably that I don't know. I'm not really going off of any real statistic here. I would guess that men are still assaulted less than women. I could be wrong. You know what? The point you just made would make the data somewhat invalid, but I'm curious, like male versus female assault. An estimated 91% of an SA victims are female and 9% are male. 99% of perpetrators are male. This U.S. Department of Justice statistic does not report those who do not identify in the gender boxes. Great. I would guess there's probably more male victims than 9%, but I would still probably say that more men do it than women. Or I also think that just like less. So I'll give like an example here, right? I think men in general just treat it less seriously and care less. So like, for example, I was filming a video one time with my camera guy and we were filming with a bunch of drunk college kids who were around with them, right? And this girl that was like in the crowd we were interviewing, it's actually in a video on the Tom Ariel channel. She was super drunk and she straight up just lunged at us. She tried to kiss me. I think she actually did plan a kiss on me and I didn't even realize it. And then she tried to do the same thing to my camera guy, right? Keep in mind, we didn't know her. We weren't flirting with her. We had like one conversation with her about like brain rot content or something. We were just trying to get some funny clips. And she straight up just did that, right? Now, for he and I, obviously we weren't happy about that, right? We weren't like, that's super cool. We weren't like great. But I think he took it a little more, but even at that, it wasn't like there was never a conversation we had where he was like, I think we should go to the police. We didn't really care. Obviously if we did, maybe we could have gotten something done about it. I don't really know, but ultimately we weren't really that bothered by it, compared to, I think if that happens to a girl, like imagine the roles are reversed. Imagine a girl is out filming a video with a microphone and some drunk guy just like lumbers over her and kisses her, right? I think a big part of that is probably because generally, men are just bigger than women. So I think women feel a lot more intimidated, when this like 5'3" Asian girl like drunkenly tried to kiss me. And I think she did plant one on me. I can't really remember. I was like, I wasn't happy about it, but I didn't really feel threatened. In fact, at the time, I don't think I even realized what was going on. I think there's a video of this. Let me look this up. I think I know which one it is. It's one of the early interview videos we did, which we don't really do anymore. Yeah, I think that's the girl. I think that is her right there. It's real. Let me try to get this moment in here. I think I still had my coat on. Yeah, okay, watch this. That is the girl. Here we go.
Yeah, do you think love is real?
I definitely do.
How do you know?
Because I feel like there's no other
Okay, this is the moment.
purpose in life, low-key.
Wait, can I talk on the mic? I need a question.
It's illegal to talk
She's like super wasted.
on the mic, actually.
Is it?
You have to be shorter than 5'6". Is love real?
Love is not real. Love is fakest because my parents are divorced. No one loves me.
Like she is super faded.
Unfortunately?
How does that make you feel?
Why is it unfortunate?
Yeah, you can see it just happen right there. We were just having conversation. I was not flirting with her. I was just talking to her. She ran right in.
Unfortunately?
How does that make you feel?
Why is it unfortunate?
You could see it kind of crazy.
Got him. We can got him.
You're getting aggressive.
Sexually assaulted. That was great. Don't touch it. Don't get any.
She tried to go in again. I think she tried to go for my camera guy.
Yeah, I feel.
You can see me joking after. I didn't really care. I wasn't really, I don't like that she did that. She's flirting with you. Okay, even if she is flirting, like it's not normal to go from flirting to just jumping on someone's face, Like, yeah, it's not a normal thing to do. I'm not really, once again, I'm not like traumatized by it. I'm not like, I literally never think about this happening. But, I can see why if you're a different person, maybe it would bother you more, I just was kind of like, that's assault. I know technically it is. I'm just telling you, like, I wasn't personally like bothered. I didn't care. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pretend that I like feel worse about it than I do? I just personally didn't give a Like, I didn't. I get if other people were. It's not great that it happened. But I was not like, you know, you can't make me feel the way I don't feel. I don't feel, you know, I don't feel like super violated. I don't like that she did that. But, you know, it's, what am I supposed to like fake my emotions about it, you know? I was just like, whatever. Not good that it happened. But it is crazy. It is crazy that we had the camera right in her face and she didn't even register. This is a bad idea to do this. She must have been super wasted.
No one loves you.
No one loves you.
Unfortunately?
How does that make you feel?
Why is it unfortunate?
How does it make you feel? Got him. We even got him.
You're getting
Sexually
aggressive.
assaulted. That was great. Don't touch it. Don't get anywhere near us.
Yeah, I feel...
Huh?
I would say so.
But yeah, that's basically what happened. It is what it is, you know. But obviously, like, a lot of it can kind of depend on, like, the feelings you have about it, you know. Like, if this guy had walked up to her and done that, and for some reason this girl was, like, not upset about it at all, is he still, like, a freak? Will he do that in the future, potentially, if not called out? Yeah, of course. But, like, you do, to an extent, you have to respect the feelings of the person involved, you know. You do have to. Should have blocked with the mic? Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Should have just bonked her on the head.
By someone that they trust. I'm not going to be upset if
The thing is, it was so fast, I didn't even realize it was happening. Like, there's so many kids around that are drunk and, like, yelling. I'm trying to film a video. I didn't even realize that that was happening at all. You know, it wasn't, like, apparent to me. I didn't even realize till after that that she had done that, you know. My camera guy had to tell me, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Should have put a cigarette out on her forehead, but oh well. She needs some milk.
if they want to explain like their thought process and what happened in this clip. Like, who cares? Let them do it. It's not that big of a deal. And also, I understand this part in particular here.
All she had to say was Hawk Tua. Yeah, I agree. All she had to say was Hawk Tua. If you do something like this and you just say Hawk Tua after, you're fine, bro. You're saved. GG. Imagine if this guy, after he did what he did, he just said Hawk Tua and spit on that thing. She would have been like, oh, it's fine. It was Harvard. It wasn't Harvard. It was some other college in Mass. It wasn't Harvard, though.
Here, where she's talking about, oh, laughing is a defense mechanism. Absolutely. She's trying to get ahead of what people are probably going to say, which is, oh, you seem really comfortable and happy in that clip. That's why he took it to that level.
As a male who was essayed by his ex who told his friends and it was brushed off, thank you for what you said. Appreciate your videos, bro. Yeah, no problem, buddy. I mean, look, I just understand, you know, I think it can be a serious thing, you know, for guys too. It really depends on how you feel about what happened. Some people just won't care, but for some people it really bothers them to have someone do that, you know? So, you know, it's too bad your friends didn't take it seriously. I think a lot of this is like, it's like just male conditioning to not care about this kind of shit, you know?
And it's like, no, that's not what's happening here at all. So she obviously feels the need to clarify that, which is why she's saying what she said in this reply. And I don't think there's anything really wrong with this. I mean, it's appropriate. Again, it gives more to the story. It clarifies her thoughts. It gets ahead of people who might try to, you know, slap some sort of meaning on her laughter in this clip. And so, yeah, I mean, it makes complete and total sense. I don't think there's really anything wrong with her saying that. And when it comes to the chat, I mean, I guess I don't really know what these people's history is. I don't know if Zaki and this person were like, you know, friends, longtime friends or something. Maybe he was a mod for her, but either way, regardless, it still is just an insane thing to do, given that
it doesn't really matter what their like friendship or relationship was. Like maybe you could kind of justify it. I don't think you actually can. I was gonna say like maybe if they're in a relationship and this is a normal thing they do, you can justify it, but that's not even like a thing to enter the frame, you know? Maybe if they were in a relationship and they had some kind of conversation where they were like, hey, anytime you want to come up to me and motorboat me, it's fine. I like it. It's not sexual assault. Maybe then you could justify it, but that's not even close to the reality, right? She was just some person that he was just some person she didn't really know. Like, yeah.
That the chat is reacting like, oh, my man Zaki to Zaki Copperfield. It seems like they maybe like knew him, may have been part of her community, but yeah, I mean, this is just yet another story of just horrific things happening at TwitchCon. I don't know how often this is going to happen. I feel like if you show up to TwitchCon now in the future, you should just fully expect to get cheated on, ruin your marriage of 15.
Had a guy in 8th grade who supposedly hooked up with a student teacher. Now he has a kid that's roughly the right age and looks like him. Interesting. That's super fucked, bro. Huh. Is he like in the kid's life? How does that work? Cockpua, shit on that thing. Wait, yo, new tweet. Thank you very much for your inspiration. That one's definitely going out there for everyone to see. Move over the Konami code. We've got the Hawk Cryptua life hack now. Look, true, very true. I think you're right, and I think a lot of people are not thinking about that.
Years, you know, gets essayed. It's just to such an insane point now. Like, it's nonstop. And so she ended up going live yesterday. Just answered a couple questions about it. Gave a couple more thoughts. She talked about it for a little while, but I'm just going to play a couple clips from her stream. Firstly, she was talking about a lot of people gave her some backlash for like waiting 3 days to post about it. Like, why didn't you do it quicker? So here's her talking about that.
I will take my time to go through it. I know I just couldn't not post about it, man. People were saying some shit like, why take 3 days? As if like 3 days. That's what made me so pissed off, actually. let's talk about that. That made me so mad is when people are saying shit like, why did you wait 3 days? Like 3 days is like an absolute insane amount of time to wait to post something. Like, no, that is so recent. That is so, something just happened.
Yeah, like what is she supposed to do? Like tweet about it right away? Like she's already at TwitchCon. She wants to like move on and have fun with her friends. She hasn't really probably processed, you know, mentally and understood what happened. Like, what are you really supposed to criticize her for, you know? I don't think she did anything wrong here. Watching before I thump some beans, bruh. Have some fun with that.
Happened this weekend. Like, I don't understand that take. Like, I'm allowed to think and I'm allowed to ponder whether or not I do want to talk about it.
I knew a chick that was 16 dating a 24-year-old. Saw her a few months ago. She seemed fucked up from it. Yeah, I mean, I think that can definitely completely stunt your development, you know? When you're 16, you're supposed to be having relationships with other 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds or 18-year-olds. You're not supposed to be having relationships with people who are like out of college and have a full job, you know? When you're in high school, it's generally not advisable to have a boyfriend or girlfriend that's, you know, picking you up from school after work. You know, I mean, it depends on the age, obviously, you know, I guess if you're 17 dating a 19-year-old, it's whatever. But, you know, the farther apart in age you get, the greater the maturity gap is and the less understanding you're going to be able to have of that relationship. I think South Park hit on the head on how guys perceive SA in the episode where he fucks his kindergarten teacher. I haven't seen that episode. I like South Park, though.
Bring it publicly. I'm allowed
Respect my authority
to do that. It's my trauma. It's my trauma. So yeah, that shit, I got pissed reading those messages because it's like, no, like a victim of this type of stuff should ever have to feel guilty for ever coming out, no matter how long it's been. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to process. That's what I'm saying. I got touched without my consent inappropriately, and people are worried about the time of how long it's been. Like, hello? Like, I don't get it. I don't get that.
And I mean, yeah, I have to agree with her here. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense to be upset about that. Why am I going to be sitting here up in arms, pressed, and just like baby?
The situation sort of reminds me of the Kikime one. Our convention's not safe for women, period. I don't know who Kikime is. I mean, our convention's not safe for women, period. No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say that it, like at any public place where there's, you know, opportunity for anyone to be there, you just don't know what's going to happen, you know? Should you assume that you're going to be assaulted if you go to a convention or a public place? No. But like with any place that has access to the general public where anyone can be there and get a ticket and do, you know, whatever, like the risk you do, I guess, run the risk technically. Now that's not to blame her, of course. But I mean, it does, stuff like that unfortunately does happen to these kind of events, you know? 3 days is quick. Yeah, it is relatively quick.
Be raging about that it took her 3 days to talk about it. I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense. You have people like Katie Bugs who wait like a year plus and then they make a story that's just filled with inconsistencies, filled with different lies and like different...
Yeah, and this girl was like consistent all the way through. She told the same story from front to back and the guy admitted to it. Like, what more can you ask, you know?
Ways that she just like details she left out, cuddling for over an hour, you know, stuff like that. She intentionally did.
Downside to sexualizing yourself online, but the thing is, it doesn't really matter. Like whether or not somebody sexualizes themselves online, that's not like free reign to do whatever you want, you know? That's not how that works. Like if you're sexualizing yourself online, is it possible you're going to attract more people like this? Yes, I don't think that's a controversial take, but that still doesn't justify what they do, right? People have free will. They can make their own decisions. Like whether or not some girl is naked online all the time, you know, going 304 mode, it doesn't really matter. Like it's not justification to do that. Like you're essentially making the same argument as like, well, what was she wearing? You know, it's like, can you not control yourself around a woman who's like wearing revealing clothing? That's like your problem. You know, it's not her problem. You know, if you post your tits online, that's not giving consent for anyone to motorboat you.
And then we have this woman has it straight up on video evidence. The guy she just met in his first physical interaction with her is
he admitted to it,
groping her. Pretty much a couple days later, she decides, you know, this needs to be public, and she does it, and people are upset. Like, if anything, this should be like the standard. This is what people should be like, wow, this is a clear-cut case. It doesn't get any more obvious than this. But the fact that there are some people that are still upset, it's insane to me. So I don't even blame her for being mad about that. And here is a little bit more commentary from her. She talks about that she actually brought it up to him IRL after this took place, like before she was going to go home, I'm assuming after the stream was turned off, and he basically gave an excuse that he was drunk. So here's her talking about that as well.
Like I remember at the end of the day, like I was gonna go get an Uber. I was getting Uber. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go home, man. I brought it up to him at the end, and he was just like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was drunk. I had like 2 Jaeger bombs.
Well, I mean, that's not an explanation or an excuse, right? That's not a good justification. Like, it happened, you know? Like, whatever your intention was, like, the effect is clear.
And, yeah, I was just really nervous to meet you.
You're nervous to meet someone and you stick your face in their tits? Jesus.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
These streamers want to be seen sexually online and invites really bad fans. I mean, what is she really doing that's that sexual? I mean, she's wearing a low-cut shirt. Is it that crazy, you know? Can it invite bad fans? Yeah, obviously. But, like, wanting to be seen sexually online or profit from, you know, your tits is not the same as wanting guys to come up and stick their face in your junk, you know? Like, it's not the same thing. Like, this once again, it's still not a good justification. If you're unable to not assault someone while drunk, you shouldn't drink. Well, yeah, obviously. Is it gooning if you send yourself nudes? Is it gooning if you sub to your own OF? These are hard-hitting questions. That is gooning, undoubtedly. It's self-gooning. Gooning in and of itself is jerking off, so that's obviously still gooning. Take it easy, Vader. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. It's called self-love.
You were nervous to meet me, so you decided to put your hands on me. You decided to put your hands on me in front of a camera. Like, imagine if I wasn't streaming, bro. Like what else would you do? Like, what else would you do if you're comfortable doing that shit?
Big oil gang stalkers have been hounding me for their iPad. Do you still have it? I split it over my knee. It's over.
Like, what? I don't get it, man.
So yeah, again, I don't know. There's really just no excuse for it. It's unacceptable behavior at the end of the day. But such is life, such is TwitchCon, I suppose. Moral of the story, don't go to TwitchCon. Don't send your significant others to TwitchCon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? You know, I feel bad for her. That sucks. I mean, she definitely got assaulted. The guy admitted to it. What the f else is there, you know? Feel bad for her. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. That guy's never going to have a career on Twitch, and I think that's the right thing. You know, I don't think he should be allowed in TwitchCon again, certainly. Never mind any other kind of convention where something like that can happen, you know? It's just not worth the risk of him being around. Hope he gets arrested. He probably won't, unfortunately. The girl's handling as well. She's pissed off but dignified. Yeah, she's not being hysterical, which, like, you couldn't even blame her if she was, considering what happened. But yeah, she's like very unemotional, even keeled. Like, she's very direct about how she feels about it and what happened. She's making it very clear to everyone, like, exactly what went down. She's not over exaggerating, not that she needs to anyway. So yeah, I think she did a good job of handling that. You know, W woman moment. All right.